Yes, we are still on the sanitation project and it's still Solution Ghana. And today, one of our major things we want to do and project is the comments that are coming and as far as the Buzstop Boys projection is concerned. Just recently we did a take on the Buzstop Boys as far as sanitation is concerned in the country, and we seem to have a lot of people, and of course us as well, very interested in what they were doing as volunteers going about cleaning the gutters and sanitizing the environment. And we've seen that they are growing in popularity for that matter. Well, the discourse has to be broader because we've had quite some comments coming through from left, right, and other places that seems to want to look at a broader perspective from where we are, from the stage of volunteerism. We're looking at it on a national level. What is the national interest when it comes to individual, private stakeholdership in the sanitation project or concern in the country? So we thought it prudent to bring on one of our avid followers on Solution Ghana, and we want to appreciate the fact that we are having citizens interested in the national discourse as far as sanitation is concerned, and we want to highlight it so that it becomes a trail, a national discourse. Let's look at what is best on the national level for sanitation in the country. A new government is on the scene and policies are transforming. We've had the Jospon Group, Zululion in perspective, receding to the background when it comes to sanitation in the country and the contract they held with YEA. So I have Enyonam with me, Miss Enyonam with me. She happens to be privy to sanitation matters because she's been a manager and a founder of Hodaya Services in the Northern region that has undertaken quite some cleaning services and projects in that region. And she is also a businesswoman into other projects, farming, for instance. Tell us a bit about yourself, actually.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to the farming. I mentioned over there, so you can project it a bit more.
Yes, so I'm currently the Chief Business Officer for Tahis Easy Farms.
Okay.
We are into livestock, into poultry, piggery, and goat rearing.
Okay.
We are located about 2 hours from Kintampo, in a village of Enyonam, 2 hours from Kintampo.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's zoom straight to why we are here. You've been very concerned. Buzstop Boys or what we're doing. Are you against what we're doing, generally?
I think it's commendable. It's amazing. So if one in Ghana, you remember that years back we used to community used to have communal where opinion leaders or leaders in the community call the community members to come and help clear certain areas. It used to be very periodic, but then I think with urbanization, the rural-urban drift, these communal services have been relegated to the background. And also with this rural-urban drift, it's also made the urban areas very susceptible to large waste production, which the assemblies are unable to help manage. Not just the assemblies, but even the waste management providers, service providers, it's difficult for them to manage this waste that is being produced like on a daily basis in the rural areas. That's what we're doing is excellent. I just wish that, like every other thing we do, once the politicians get involved, it becomes a certain way. It becomes like more praise singing than the sustainability of that project. Okay. I love the fact that it's not somebody's company and they are employing people to come and do these communal jobs. It's actually an organization, NGO, and people are whether we get paid or not. I feel that if we can, the government is already getting involved. Actually, look at decentralizing the whole project. The leader
That's what he is trying to do, right?
yes, kind of like what he's trying to do. So that in every assembly we have groups of the Buzstop Boys. So that we don't pick one, it's not just one set around the country to do these things. So that in every community, in every assembly, we have these things, and then they have like a regular scheme of when these things are done. When you look at our history, our very present, like not too far away history, we can tell how waste management plays a major role in flooding in the cities. And what they are doing is also going to help with like the distilling of the gutters and all the waste we are collecting from certain vantageous points. It's also going to help with the free flow of flood water so it doesn't enter into our homes and cause devastating effects to the community. So it's a laudable idea. My point is that we need to streamline it to become very sustainable. So that 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, we don't have the basketball again because we could not sustain it.
I love the broader perspective we are projecting. So let's look at it from this way. We are looking at the government decentralizing or hoping to decentralize, not hoping. I think that's a policy on the ground now to decentralize through the various assemblies. So what it means is that there's not going to be one major company like we have in Zoomlion, with Zoomlion, that will be all over the place. The Buzstop Boys and other private volunteers, for that matter, are not that decentralized. They can move from Kaswa to Tema and all over the place. Is that a problem, really?
That is what is going to cause, that is what is going to beat against the sustainability of what they are doing now. Because if it's just one group moving from one area to the other at different points, it means that today, if they are in Tama, whatever works are supposed to be done in Accra is left undone. So until they are done with whatever works they are doing in Tama, they can't come to Accra anymore. And you see, government has actually already decentralized waste management. And they've it's trickled down to the assembly level. So the assemblies are now in charge of waste management in all the various assemblies in this country. I think that it would be great if the assemblies take a turn helping the Buzstop Boys. Yes. So in every assembly, they have waste management contractors servicing these areas. So what they can do, I think when I saw the interview the last time, I realized one of the challenges they were facing was trucks to carry the waste, the waste from the desilted gutters to the landfill site.
Yes, like you mentioned, from Peter to Bashman.
Exactly.
At a distance.
Yes. And they are only using the motor tricycles. But these assemblies have waste management service providers who have compacted trucks. So if the assembly is supposed to get involved and speak to the waste management providers in their assembly that, okay, every fourth month on this Saturday, the Buzstop Boys are going to do cleanup in this area. So if you can lend us a compactor truck so that it would help them carry whatever waste they have gathered out of that community, then I think that we are all the service providers, the private service providers, the assemblies. Yes. And it's going to make it work. Because then if the private, if let's say Zoomlion is in this area, and this is where their services are provided, and they are willing to give the Buzstop Boys just one compactor truck for every time they come into this area, then it's going to help with their movement. It's going to help with the movement of waste out. It's going to help sustain the volunteer work they are doing. So now they don't have to now go and look for money and then buy fuel and get trucks or rent trucks to carry this waste out. It's, it helps them hold onto whatever donations they get to pay or to, give out to those who are there without jobs. So I think that it's a collective effort. Assembly needs to get involved. They need to embrace what these boys are doing, and they need to, afford them help so that it makes the job whatever they are doing more effective.
Well, you know that in the mention of Zoom Lion, a lot of things come to the fore. Politics and also the business side of things.
Yeah.
We are looking, I know you're not talking as a voice of Zoom Lion. I'm just looking at the fact that they've been the face of the program, and they seem to have given traction, and they have the resources for that matter. So should it also be in the act of volunteers, another thing should it be an act of volunteers, syncing with Buzstop Boys and all other stakeholders to get the tracks on board and all that? If you're following carefully, you know that Zoomlion is having other contracts in other countries as well. So probably the tracks you're talking about may not be as available, and maybe it's not so much in a positive sync with the government. So it might also be a bit, dragging on his feet or on their feet for that matter when it comes to engagement with private.
I think that any other person, with the way they were treated, people would just fall back and say that, okay, I'm not going to be involved. Any person will just fall back and say, I'm not going to be involved. But I think what you notice of Cell Japan, it's a few other private lists like Asadu, Stanley, Daben, Zukora. These are very traditional waste management providers who have been in business for almost 30 years and still running. These people are doing business purely on passion and how they can help with waste management. It always them sometimes.
How do you access the passion with what you're doing? As I get the business side of things.
The business side of things is part, but you see, when you sit back as a lay person, just think about the operational costs these companies go through on a daily basis, following their trucks, maintenance of their trucks, the general day-to-day running of their companies. It's a lot. And take the Ghanaian attitude as in contrast with what they are doing. Some people don't think that we should even pay for waste management services. I think I was having a conversation with you some time ago, and I was telling you that the areas that produce the most waste are the slums, and they're the ones who won't even pay for the services the waste management companies are providing for them. It's like with every other thing. It's like football. Somebody can be talented, but without the passion, he won't do well. So with every other thing, I think what is pushing the very few waste management service providers I mentioned, it's just the passion. It's like, this is what I want to do. Somebody wants to be a farmer. This is my passion, to be a farmer. It has very little to, because if it was just the business aspect, they would fold and then venture into something else. And I keep mentioning Zoom Lion because he doesn't service waste management just in Ghana. Just last year, he had some contracts with the Angolan government, the Nigerian government. He's in Liberia, he's in Sierra Leone, he's in China. So what he has done is to partner with other countries, learn from these other countries, bring the knowledge that is not in Ghana into Ghana. I for example, think that how his contract was abrogated, the noise about it wasn't really fair to him. But I think that if they approach him, there's no way he's going to say that, okay, I'm not going to help these people because the contract has been taken away from me. He's passionate about the job he's doing. He's willing to help. I have first-hand knowledge, and I've met him. We've had this course, and I know for a fact, not just him, not just Zoomline. If you go to Asadi Royal Waste, if you go to Jokowa, if you go to, I don't know whether the band is still in service, but these, they will help because it's going to also make their jobs easier in the assemblies they are providing services.
Okay, but I'm sure you also know for a fact I'm careful for us not to enter into other areas that probably will push you to represent something that probably you're not representing. I mean, in the technical sense of it, because you are not a direct rep of Zoomline. We also know about Manasa Zulu, the investigative journalist, and what came out as to the unfairness of the contracts related to those who are were contracts on the ground, the women, the sweepers and all that, and how much they were being paid. We don't want to go so much into that because if it is unfair to him, then we have to look at what the government did and whether it was called for. We want to look at the politics of things. We want to look at the balance of judgments in that regard. But we don't want to go into that because then it will take us into other technical things and beyond the boundaries of what we want to talk about. But what we want to establish here, so we still want to appeal to the conscience of those stakeholders that are privy and have more traction on the ground and even on the international front that you're talking about, to still engage with the assembly, the stakeholders, the assembly, Buzstop Boys, and any other private entities that are volunteering and doing any other stuff. Well, but let's call a spade, right? If I am moving a truck, I'll need fuel. So are you trying to say that, so whatever monies or funds have been allocated to the assemblies, some should be used to fuel these trucks that could be available to help communal projects?
Yes. So
and it has to be planned on the administrative level.
Exactly.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's not just the Buzstop Boys. It has to do with the assembly, the Buzstop Boys, and the waste management service providers in those assemblies, in those areas. So if I'm supposed to provide you with a truck, I'm providing you with a truck and a driver, and mates who will help load these things into, because they know how to operate the compactor trucks in. So the assembly should also bear the cost of at least fueling
the logistics.
One compactor truck. Yes, so it's a collective effort. Every stakeholder in this should come together and have a consensus, like an agreement that this is what we can do to also help, because it's purely a voluntary exercise by the Buzstop Boys. It's not like a company, so that I would say that because this is a company, then they should fend for themselves.
Okay.
But because it's like the people involved are just volunteering their time to work in these streets, then maybe there should be help coming from certain sectors to make their work quite easy.
Well, there are some certain nuances in this that we can project, but for the sake of time, because I want to look at volunteerism and business sustainability for that matter. You can have a passion, but if you don't have the support, the financial support, you're also using your time and energy. So there are some remittances, there are some payment that should come from certain quarters, and that that could be a bit complex when it comes to the underground debates and discourses on the table, and those are the things, the nuances that could make it a bit some way and could mar the general interest that we all want. Don't you think so?
Yes, you are right. And from the last interview you had with Sofo.
Yes.
He then I mean, getting to the end of the interview, I think I heard him say he's registered a company and he is into waste management service provision, which is okay. So that we know that he has a business on the side and he's doing all this voluntary work also. So that tomorrow when somebody sees him riding a metro, they don't say that the donations he got out of the traction he's had with the Buzstop Boys is what he's using to ride. And Ghanaians, we are quick to sing your praises and very quick to pull you down when we feel that you are doing certain things that do not align with what we think you should do. So that is where I think that the government should have taken their time and looked into the work they are doing before they band around them.
Okay.
And give them all this, sometimes we need to take our time. Because you cannot compare the experience of 30 years with a one-day volunteer work, or 2 weeks or 2 years volunteer work. If you could remember, I don't know whether it was during the period of our late president John Satamos, there was like every month we had communal labor where in the central business centers, shops were not even opened until 12 noon. But everybody was supposed to be involved, and with this, the assemblies involved the waste management sectors. I know that this media house who was also, they are also involved in these periodical waste management projects, and they would call on the waste management, the private waste management service providers to come and help, probably with compactor trucks, with dustbins and all that, with shovels, and we're always happy to go to help them. So this particular thing, if you want to really talk about it, it's not just the Buzstop Boys. It's supposed to involve all stakeholders, yes, so that everybody brings up thoughts, experiences, challenges, and resources, so that together this thing can be sustained for a very longer period. Because honestly, we need all the help we can get in battling waste management in Ghana. I mean, it's getting better, but we could do much more better than we are doing now.
Okay. Now, what comes to mind more critically is the volunteerism branch, and the fact that the populace is excited and a lot of business entities and individuals are willing to support it. So for their 2 years running, they celebrated their 2 years anniversary just recently as Buzstop Boys. We can see steady growth and popularity and support. Can we say that in the next 5-10 years of your project, maybe the tractors you're talking about, and don't forget that in my interview with him, he's engaging Rally the Youth Employment Agency in that matter. I don't know how far that has gone in the positive sense of things. But don't you think that, okay, so in terms of branch, and then also the involvement of people, it may be lost in the trajectory of putting it under, a national umbrella and things like that. They lost that velvet, interests and all that. There seems to be a certain magic about the Buzstop Boys, that's making people support. They even love what you're doing.
Yes. So
how do you sustain this?
So we should open it up
Okay.
Because I could be in Ajungano and you want to help or we want to volunteer in their exercises or their risk management exercises. But it would be very difficult for me to move from Ajungano to, let's say, Ashie on the Dodora Road to join them. But if there's another set of Buzstop Boys in Ajungano, it's easy because I don't need to travel all the way and come back. I can just join the Buzstop Boys in Ajungano and their periodic risk management.
So if I had a private entity on the brand and I am made to wear the brand of Buzstop Boys, around, what we are insinuating is that, well, let me see an implication. It's that we are accepting the Buzstop Boys, we are appreciating what they are doing, and I'm ready and willing to relegate my brand to push the Buzstop Boys agenda because it seems to be gaining traction. Is that what we are seeing? And is that realistic?
So
other agencies and entities?
Not really relegates your brand, partner your brand.
So I can wear my brand.
Yes.
I don't have to wear Buzstop Boys brand.
No, you don't need to wear Buzstop Boys brand. But you see, the exercise,
the face.
Exactly. The exercise is something synonymous to the Buzstop Boys. And not your brand person. You are only partnering with them so that whatever they are doing becomes easier, becomes more effective. Yes. So the face of it is the Buzstop Boys, but that's like Awake Water, Vault, or whatever your brand is. Partnering with them is just so that it makes their job a little more easier than it is now. And like I keep saying, they need to open it up.
Okay.
Open it up.
But you're not even talking about brands that are doing the same thing.
Yes.
That they also want to be projected and appreciated, and they also want to be on the front line, or in the front line.
Yes.
That regard. Don't you think that there'll be a little politics there? It's setting the foundations of what we
so
establish.
I think politics today in our day-to-day activities when there's no consensus. Yes, we can't avoid it, but when there's no the trade parties, when there's no like power understanding or power agreement that this is what we are going to do. We are supporting us. This is a Buzstop Boys program, but Asabi Boost is supporting them, or Jakura is supporting them, or Special Ice is supporting them, UTV is supporting them. The brand is there, is showing, but this is something that is for the Buzstop Boys. This is a program for the Buzstop Boys. Yes. Politics has a way of, bringing divisions and all that into like activities in every country. Maybe the politicians should take a backstage about this, like play in the background, let's show their faces and allow those who have something to offer to do the best that they can do.
Well, they will tell you that they have a lot to offer in terms of their influence, in terms of their power, the financial aspect of it. We can also argue that politics also shapes. We can't always be talking about the negative side of politics. You agree with me? There's also the positive side that also shapes the general, ideas that we have into a useful, trajectory, right? But at the end of the day, I'm sure what you're trying to say is that everybody should be involved. Let's put forward those things that are working, or those institutions that are working, and let's support each other in that regard. Well, the debate continues, and I will invite the views of every stakeholder in this matter. Let's keep talking about it. Let's keep reviewing it until we have something nice for ourselves as far as this sanitation drive is concerned. The government is involved. You and I are involved. All stakeholders, companies, entities, NGOs are involved. And I think it's been a very fruitful one.
It has been.
Thank you so much for coming on the show as we invited you, and I wish you all the best. What are your final comments?
For waste management, for what the Buzstop Boys are doing, we all need to be involved. Everyone, the government, private waste service providers, the individuals, every one of us, we need to be involved. I keep saying that there's a conversation we need to have as Ghanaians, and we are not ready to have those conversations. I feel the waste management providers, I keep speaking for them because I've been there and I know what it takes. They are ready to have those conversations, but the other major stakeholders are not ready to have those conversations. We should have that conversation. We should see the challenges, and we should all come together to help with solving these challenges that faces us with waste management. It's not a single organization's effort, it's a collective effort. It stems from the business side, political, and even individual citizens. We all need to be involved.
Well, we all need to be involved. The national song says that we are all involved, we are all involved, we are all involved in building a motherland. Let's continue this debate. Let it trail. Let's let others come on board. Let's see your comments. And I think that at the end of the day, you have something good for this country. It's been Vocal Band of the Solution Ghana. And as always, we bring you the best. See you another time.